Good morning, gang. Happy Sunday. So, we talk about the potential for World War III. You hear it in the news all the time, right? Oh my God, if Trump wins, he's going to get us into World War III. We heard that in 2016. Don't remember us getting into World War III, okay? So, on the same thing, we didn't get in World War III during the Biden-Harris administration yet, but we're a lot closer now than we were 4 years ago. And it's one thing that we need to prepare ourselves for because it's a possibility of it happening. And I know there's a whole bunch of people that'll always say, gee, no, the world is not that stupid to do it. But then you look at Russia, Ukraine, or Israel versus the entire Middle East, China and Taiwan, latest rumblings of China and the Philippines. Yeah, we got some issues out there. And could it come to U.S. soil? Now, of course, you always hear these people that say, oh, it'll never come to the U.S., behind every blade of grass, all that, right? Sure. Okay. In the never-ending saga of things the media doesn't tell us about, maybe you missed this one. We being the United States, Canada, you need to listen to this one too, have bolstered our military presence in Alaska, okay, reinforcing our troops there. Because all of a sudden, the Russians and the Chinese are out running strategic bombing runs, flying fighter jets as escorts, playing around with missile strikes. Now, what have we done? Well, yeah, you may not say it's much, but we redeployed the USS Starret, into the Alaskan waters there. We have sent a whole bunch of fighter jets and put them on heightened alert. We have increased our troop presence on remote islands, the Aleutians, okay, in Alaska. Why? Well, if there was ever to be an attack on the United States by either Russia or China, sure, you hear people say it would be an EMP, or, God forbid, we wind up in full-blown thermonuclear war, but at that point, that destroys the entire country, and that's not exactly certainly what China wants to do. China needs the United States because they need fertile farmland, they need sources of water, because they've destroyed their own country. That's what communism does. Russia can tell you the same. But how would they get supplies, troops, equipment, anything to the U.S.? Alaska would be the most obvious solution. You're not going to try to ship cargo ships full of troops, full of tanks, helicopters, fuel, whatever, across the Pacific. It's just not going to work. That's way too easy to take those out, right? A ground supply chain would be a whole lot more reasonable. Now, this isn't Sarah Palin where you could stand out on my back porch and see Russia. Okay, that's not realistic. But it's a very short jaunt from Russia to Alaska. And granted, I've been in Alaska. It's not exactly what you'd call flat territory where you can just drive on along. But it's a lot easier to get equipment, get material, get troops into North America via Alaska than it is over the Pacific. Okay. Why would we be sending troops, a ship, planes there? Chances are it's just a show of force, okay? Just a deterrent. Hey, we understand you're flying planes, you're practicing out here in the middle of international waters. You just happen to be a little close. And so just make sure you don't come into our airspace. All right. 99.5% chance that's it. Though that 0.5% chance that Russia or China is figuring out ways that they could move into North America. Canada, why I say you need to be paying attention. Well, if you get through Alaska, guess what? British Columbia is next before they get into Washington State. Just note to self. So all those socialist ideals that Justin Trudeau has, yeah, well, maybe this is the way that Justin Trudeau just plans on supporting China the next way. Maybe this is the way that, I don't know, Tim Walz, with all his ties to the CCP, plan on supporting China, right? Okay. It's certainly not something to worry about. It's certainly not something to, oh my God, war's coming or whatever. But it's something to pay attention to. Because as we know, we still have Russian military down in Venezuela. We still have Russian ships around Cuba. We apparently have a Chinese submarine around Cuba. Okay, that gets up to Florida, coming up through Mexico. All right, that's hitting Texas. If this is the way to come in from the Northeast, yeah, you start looking at this and go, okay, are we surrounded? What's going on? Why are all these exercises all of a sudden being done around the United States? We're not doing drills around China, okay? I mean, occasionally, yeah, we do. We will do joint exercises with South Korea or joint exercises with Japan. We should expect that the Chinese and the Russians would do the same, because unfortunately our idiotic politicians didn't take the opportunity 30 years ago to establish good relations with Russia. And with all the beautiful sanctions Biden's war in Ukraine has brought upon, we pushed China into the hands of our true enemy, or I'm sorry, pushed Russia into the hands of our true enemy, which is China. It's something to pay attention to, because there may be a day we wake up and the headline is World War III has been declared. Hopefully that's how you hear about it, not by some ICBM landing in your backyard. Depending on where you live, that's a possibility. Just something to keep in mind. Like I said, nothing to worry about, but just something to know about, to pay attention, to think about, to, oh, if they did bring troops in across the land bridge to Alaska, what next? What do I do? Oh, if they do start rolling a naval barrage in Miami, what would I do? Just something for the back of your head, just something to think about. Have a good morning. Pinball out.